This is Hannibal coming at you with a daily wrestling news update. The big news of the day, Summerslam is coming to US Bank Stadium, home of the Minnesota Vikings, August 1st and 2nd, 2026. You'd have to think Brock Lesnar will stay under contract till at least then, since he's still over in Minnesota despite being gone for now. The other reason is, how are they going to come up with 2 nights worth of content for SummerSlam? I know, I know it's money making because most people flying in from other places will pay to go for the second night, and they don't need pay-per-view buys anymore because they're going to be on Netflix. But to me, it waters down SummerSlam. WrestleMania is already watered down for the 2 nights. I don't know how long it was this year because I didn't watch. Because last year I watched night one and it was like 5 hours plus, and it was too much for me. It made me not want to watch the second night. So I know it's great for making money, but it waters it down. But I know why they're doing it, because they're a business all about making money. Speaking of all about making money for TKO. Oh, and by the way, that's in 2026, not in 2025. So I don't even think they've announced where it is in 2025 yet. So they're planning way ahead. And they probably got a big site fee for this, as it's been reported many times. The TKO leadership, Mark Shapiro has said this publicly, has said they're looking for large site fees for not only all pay-per-views, but now even Raw and SmackDowns, which is going to be a lot harder, other than maybe in smaller towns where WWE is going to avoid. Otherwise, they might pay site fees for Raw and SmackDown. But for towns like Ottawa, one of the biggest towns in Canada, for people who don't know, the capital of Canada, they only have 6,000 pre-sold for Raw in July in a 20,000 seat arena. I don't think there's a lot of out-of-towners coming to it. Maybe 10% from like driving area, but I doubt anyone's flying to it. Whereas like concerts and stuff draw much more there. I used to work security, so I know what concerts draw. Concerts on average draw 15,000 plus there. So I don't know if people are really going to pay site fees and actually waive arena fees. Who knows? But they're the experts. UFC is also merging their, or TKO is merging the UFC and WWE events coordinators. So I guess a guy named Peter Dropick is going to head the new group. Dana White, Nick Khan, Paul Levesque are also going to be involved, and a lot of that's going to have to do with what we've been told by UFC and WWE doing, like, we maybe Power Slap and SmackDown on Fridays in the same town, UFC Saturdays, WWE pay-per-view Sundays, Raw Monday. So they're I guess they might be more likely to pay for site fees for Raw and SmackDown if it's going to be a whole weekend like that coming to your city. Then you might get tourists, but for your average Raw and SmackDown, who knows? Maybe if The Rock is on it and Conor McGregor, who's rumored to be maybe going to WWE for appearances, maybe then it would be worth site fees. But we've seen ratings go down since WrestleMania, since The Rock stopped appearing significantly, actually. In other news, as far as who's going to be involved in Dwayne Johnson's new movie about Mark Kerr, obviously Dwayne is playing Mark Kerr, who, by the way, I've interviewed numerous times on this channel. Emily Blunt is playing Mark Kerr's girlfriend in the movie. Boss Rutan, who there's tons of videos on of this channel, used to be on Rick Bassman's Talking Tough podcast. He's playing himself in the movie. That's cool. I really liked Boss Rutan in the Here Comes the Boom movie. He was underrated in that, and I was surprised he didn't do more after that. And that movie is on Tubi now. I recently watched it for the second time. There's going to be a child actor playing Mark Coleman's daughter. She's got a bunch of daughters who grew up to be very attractive, by the way. And I've interviewed Mark Coleman on this channel. And Mark Coleman is going to be played by Bellator fighter Ryan Bader. So there's some inside scoops from Dave Meltzer on that movie. Premium live events, to my knowledge, everywhere but the US are going to be on Netflix, which used to be called pay-per-views. Now that they don't need to like sell pay-per-views and they're included in the TV deals, from my understanding, in the US, it's still going to be on Peacock until the end of Peacock. But in places like Canada, the UK, India, everywhere else where they get Netflix, the premium live events, Raw and SmackDown, are all going to be on Netflix. So it's going to be a better deal for Canada. Someone says WrestleMania needs to be 2 nights, not SummerSlam. Well, I would say it's way better to have one night with the best of the best and not watered down, to me. I get why they're doing it as a weekend. It's about making money. But for your fan that's like only gonna watch WrestleMania, for instance, and like might be a casual fan and only wants to watch WrestleMania for like The Rock, uh, or for someone like Conor McGregor, if they bring in Conor McGregor, by adding 2 nights and adding like a lot of people that aren't necessarily WrestleMania worthy otherwise, it just waters it down. And a lot of people like me, I am a wrestling fan, but I'm not a wrestling fan of the current product unless it's someone like The Rock coming back or something really good. Um, which rarely happens for my taste these days. So to have it 2 nights, I get why they're doing it. I probably would too if I was making that much money, but it makes it less entertaining. Brandon agrees with me that Boss Rutan was great in Here Comes the Boom. He definitely was 100%. By the way, there's a new t-shirt store called Kayfabe Apparel that does t-shirts on classic wrestlers such as Bruno Sammartino and the Blackjacks. If you look at the bottom of the screen, there is a code for people that want to use the code Hannibal to get a deal on these t-shirts. For all you t-shirt fans out there, one of my friends is involved with that, so I know some people have already checked it out. You get 10% off if you use my code. Oh, Jason said there's no need for 2 nights. He's clarifying. Yeah. I mean, I remember WrestleMania 4. I've told this story before, but when it was 4 hours, it was 2 VHS tapes. And that was considered a lot back then. Now you can get one. I mean, now that they've separated it into 2 nights, it's not 7 hours, but it might be 5-ish hours each night. I don't know. It's too much for me. As I said last night, I had to drink 9 beers to sit through AEW Collision in Ottawa. And I didn't stay for Ring of Honor. I did not stay for Ring of Honor. So like the more is not better. Just like for AEW, someone mentioned recently, once they expanded to Collision and Rampage, it was too much. And yeah, it is too much to keep track of, and it actually loses more fans than gains more fans. Anyways, guys, I hope you have a good day. It's a nice, beautiful, sunny day here in Ottawa, Canada. The weather's finally improving. Wish everyone a wonderful day, and I'm sure I'll be back much later tonight with another wrestling news update once we get the evening news in. Have a great day. Party it out.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please help me out and like this video, then click the subscribe and get notifications buttons so you don't miss any of my latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news.